I actually studied the shit out of the Derby already.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm kind of I am a degenerate, obviously.
I'm kind of a degenerate.
Yeah. You're like, uh-huh.
I think we're past that.
Yeah. All right. Would you like me to do a can crack?
Yeah, do you got a beer? I have coffee. No glass straw today.
You know what? I'm going to fucking pour this beer into a solo cup, and I don't know why. But you're going to hear a beer pour, you're going to hear a crack, and then a pour.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
I'm
maybe
ready.
There are
just
maybe
please
the
don't
episodes.
please don't spill on your computer.
You know what? All of this should be left into the open. No podcast. Cheers. Has weirder opens than us. Now, listen to this sweet, sweet sound. It's summer weather. Let this just flow through your body. Actually, it's really hard to hear. Do you hear anything at all?
No.
This is not going. This is not. What the fuck? Make a sound.
This is the best.
It's like dead quiet. Like, it is so foamy.
Well,
that did not go as planned. Like in the commercials, it's like the liquid is like making a sound. Yeah.
All right. Well, the attempt
cheers.
was to pour it in a solo cup.
We didn't attempt it. It happened. It just didn't sound
good.
Like anything at all. You're right. I do forget that this is an audio medium and it's also a video medium. Maybe that should be pointed out.
Although we've told people multiple times that if you want the best version of this podcast, it's the video version.
Oh, yeah. You got to get the facial expressions and all that. Now, the other problem is I tried to speed up.
I'm sorry. I need to interrupt you because I need to talk about it. Last week, I looked so pissed. I don't know why, but I just looked so pissed when you were talking about something. And I was like, why do I look so angry? So remember you were like, I don't watch any of our stuff back. I always watch everything and listen to everything. And I was like,
you were not happy about that?
Maybe I just had like a very tense face. I have no idea. I think there was just a lot going on in my brain at that point, but it was very entertaining to see. But just a note to the viewers that I was not angry last week.
Yeah, we have a bad phone situation here.
I'm watching you try and
this looks like a science experiment. Now,
have you ever poured a beer before into a cup? Like, what are you, a rookie?
Here's the problem. I was trying to make it sound violent, so I abandoned the pour.
The technique, right.
Yeah, and now this is not moving, by the way. Like, this looks like a fucking baking soda, like Kid Volcano gone wrong. So we're going to have to endure here. So no more solo cups. Solo cups are hereby banned from the No Puns Allowed podcast.
Yeah, sorry. No. Unless they want to sponsor our podcast, then absolutely we will bring solo cups back onto the podcast.
Yeah, this is bad. We got a lot going on. All right. In any event, good to see you.
Good to see you as
well.
Football
stuff going on. We've got playoff format to talk about. We've got spring things to talk about. I have a strong take on Bama. Which I'm excited to roll off of you here. And we also had the draft, so we should probably talk about the draft first.
Yes.
Just go ahead. Whatever you want to talk about draft-wise that comes to your mind first. What were your thoughts?
First, I thought it was funny that we just spent an entire draft season talking about how bad this quarterback class was. And then lots were drafted, even ones that maybe we bet on to be drafted that people thought maybe they weren't going to get drafted. So I thought that was pretty entertaining in that front. And also I just thought like the smoke screens were incredible. Lots of talk for basically very chalk at the beginning, besides the Texans obviously moving up. But loved the interaction and reaction from Bryce Young when CJ was drafted, them hugging when they see each other after all their interviews and stuff. That was a really sweet moment, and I'm glad I got that content. Also, Deuce Vaughn, very, very tear-jerky for me to watch that phone call from his dad. Lots of very good The Feels content. Also, if you don't subscribe to the Feels stream in the Bleacher Report app, please do, because that's where all that content will be. But yeah, those were my major takeaways. We can talk about Will Levis, but I think that was a little over dramatic of the media to kind of be like, oh, that he must be so embarrassed and blah, blah, blah. I really don't think it was that bad. I don't think his agent did him a service. But yeah, not sure if you have overarching thoughts on the Will Levis situation.
I don't know why the green, like we got to stop showing these kids when they're not. I know ESPN's trying to sell drama or whomever, right? I was watching ESPN, but like the green screen stuff got very old and tedious of like the family shots. Like,
yeah,
I get it. I really do, but like, what the fuck? Like, just go somewhere else. Like you could talk about it without zooming in on him. Like, yes, look at how sad he is. Look at it, cry. Yeah, that's it, cry. Like, that got a little tiresome.
I will say though, big day for sisters. If you are a sister of an NFL draftee, your time to shine, and really proud of you. As an older sister myself, I really was happy with the love and support. I would say that's what I would call it. To make it nicer, that all sisters got from being on camera and looking nice. So,
I will also say that the fact that the Eagles only draft Georgia players is kind of amazing. It's got to the point of like hilarity. Like it's, and they're all like good. Like that defense, that 2001 defense, 2001, 2002 is like. It's an absurd, I forget, like 7 first-rounders on that defense. Like, insane. And that was pretty cool. The Deuce Ball, I'm glad you brought it up because we were going to do a feature on Deuce. It didn't work out, ultimately. I remember a couple of times, I got a lot of my audio got ate by my tape recorder. Like, my dog ate my homework. Like, tape recorder ate my Deuce Ball interview. So sad.
Trouble with technology?
I do. Yeah, that's bad. But I remember like so much his dad being a big part of that, like him telling him through the process. It was cool to see this thing come full circle, and he actually lands in an awesome spot
situation. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like it's gonna be he could be a star there. So, yeah, I mean, outside of that, I was very happy for C.J. Stroud.
So was I.
When you and I talking like, what's the deal here, and like, well played, Houston Texans. I don't quite get why you needed a smokescreen when you knew Bryce Young was going 1 and you're going 2. Like, I guess maybe to do the whole Will Anderson draft. Like, maybe.
Yeah.
It seemed a little unnecessary, honestly. But the fact that C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson are on the same team, like, also kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, I just think I'm really fascinated to see in terms of overall fit. I was looking at some of the Rookie of the Year odds. Bijan being a favorite, of course, and someone we love, makes a lot of sense. He's going to be great. Best smile, like, ever in sports. So a lot of it is nostalgia. And then I do need to talk about Stetson Bennett.
Yes.
This podcast, at least one member, told you that all this bullshit on Bennett, he's actually kind of good. We can say that begrudgingly. He's actually kind of good. And he ended up in the best situation for him, by the way. You don't look mad since you said you looked mad last week. You look flabbergasted, appalled, slightly offended.
I love that you're like saying because he was drafted, that makes him good. No, I knew he was going to be. I figured he would get drafted and should get drafted. That's the thing. I will absolutely say that he should be drafted. But I that's where it ends for me. I'm not going to.
That's it. You have no further comment at this time? I have
no further comment at this time. I feel like it's going to be interesting to see him in that environment.
You don't have to deal with it. You're done with Stetson. Like, this is it. Like,
I feel like you're going to bring it up on this podcast just to bother me. So
I actually do. I'm going to bring up one more thing. There was a quote. This is Stetson Bennett related, and then we'll come back to the draft. But did you see the quote? I think it was like On 3 saying a report that Alabama is looking for their version of Stetson Bennett. I mean, it makes me laugh. That, and I will find the exact quote, but of course on Twitter the other day, you mentioned like Alabama and Stetson Bennett, and like the internet loses its collective mind.
Yeah.
Stetson Bennett probably is forever. He will not just go away, but you won't have to deal with it for at least a little while, which is good.
But also Stetson Bennett is like a rarity. Like, you don't get a guy that like.
No.
It was storybook, and we got to tell that story, which was really great for Georgia, but. Like, that doesn't happen a lot with players, especially at the quarter.
You get to clarify who it was great for, because it wasn't great for you.
Yeah, it was great for Georgia.
It was great for them, for Georgia. But other than that, I do love the draft. I drank 13% IPAs on Thursday and enjoyed it very much. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see how some of our favorite guys do translate. Now, I do want to go over some odds. Of course, all this This show always goes back to betting, and there are some odds on the 2024 draft.
Okay.
Now, have you seen these at all?
No.
These are on DraftKings. Okay,
No.
good. I'm not gonna.
So we're
I'm
gonna,
not gonna
are,
do
we,
the.
are we gonna play our game, our favorite game?
I don't even know. It's so hard. Well, go ahead if you, because I honestly, some of these names, I'll only cover a few of the interesting ones, but I think you know who the favorite's going to be.
Caleb, yeah.
Yes, and he's a huge favorite.
What are the odds?
Minus 500. Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted. So he is minus 500. Who do you think number 2 is? I think number 2 you'll get.
Is it a quarterback?
Yes. Still, I'm drinking foam, by the way. Whew.
Why am I blanking on who it could be?
He wears blue. He's very good. You like this player. Light baby blue.
I know exactly who you're talking about, and I'm blanking on his name right now.
Oh, Drake May. I'm not going to leave you hanging. Sorry, I was looking at the odds. He is plus 550.
I was like, I know who it is. I just can't think of his name right now, which is hilarious. Welcome to May in college football, where it just doesn't matter.
It's all right. It's let's just piss off all the ACC Tar Heel fans. It's fine.
I think I'm really risking it because I know we have Georgia fans that listen to this podcast, and I'm sorry that they have to listen to my begrudgingly talking about them all the time. But UNC fans, I can get behind.
So they're the third player. We're not going to go through this whole list, but do you know who the third player is? And then I'm going to hit a couple of fun ones here. Marvin Harrison Jr. plus 1,500. So Caleb minus 500. Drake May plus 550, Marvin Harrison Jr. plus 1,500. Now, I think Caleb Williams is going to be the first overall pick, but I also think maybe we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I'll go through some other ones that I found interesting. Quinn Ewers, number 5 on the board, which is pretty amazing, plus 3,000. Michael Penix Jr. plus 5,000. KJ Jefferson plus 4,000.
KJ Jefferson, wow.
I kind of like that. Bo Nix plus 5,000. Can't wait. Deion Sanders' son plus 6,000. Jaden Daniels plus 6,000. That's a horrible bet. I like Jaden Daniels, but Jesus, no. Brock Bowers plus 10,000. Tight end number 1.
Brock Bowers, that would be cool.
I would love a top 5 bet. There's actually more bets here. QB specials. First QB selected. Minus 550, basically the same odds. Now, do you know who I really like, though, and I'm going to throw some money on?
Who?
Is Michael Penix Jr.
Okay.
I think at 50 to 1, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give it a shot. Well, but that's the only one that I'll probably dabble with.
Well, and you've got the opportunity to, not lose in your conference.
Yes.
Which is positive for you. The optics of it all is positive.
Also, post-draft, the 20, the new season the juices get flowing. You and I, we have games of the year lines. I keep teasing this. That's coming up soon. We're going to start going over next year's early lines and games. I started looking at them a little bit, and I'm very excited about that. But not yet. Why are you smiling?
Because it's just funny.
Because I'm a degenerate.
Because I'm laughing at earlier when you were like, I feel like I'm going full degenerate. I'm like, going?
Oh, you wait. We've got Kentucky Derby.
We've got Derby.
We have all sorts of. Now, Alabama. We talked about their shit spring game.
Yeah.
And then they go out and they land Tyler Buckner, who, by the way, had a very good spring by all accounts. I'm ready to kind of start saying that the dynasty is ending. And I've fought off this conversation for a really long time. I'm coming in there hot, then I'm gonna just slowly come back to normalcy. This is pretty. This ain't Bama. This ain't Bama. This ain't the Bama that we know and love, that you and I grew up with, that we love to talk about.
Yeah.
If you think that your quarterback situation is in the position where you got to go out and get Tyler Buckner, who could be good, doesn't that say a lot here? Isn't that kind of concerning?
I think it's concerning, but I think it's fine. I don't think a dynasty is over maybe it will be, but
I just kind of said that to get your attention. You know how I feel about the Alabama. The dynasty ain't over till Nick Saban is done, to be clear.
Yeah, that's really my thing. It's even if it's not what we expect from him. Like, the other part of this is that everybody else is starting, not everybody else, Georgia has caught up and has surpassed.
For sure.
And like, to that extent, yeah, it's concerning. I think Georgia's going to continue to be very, very dominant. And that's who people are going to be worried about in that conference, which is kind of crazy to think about. But with Nick Saban still being there, because I think we assumed that wouldn't happen until he was gone. But this quarterback situation, by the way, we did make a comment saying he did put a like special mark next to his name, which kind of means that he probably is already talking to someone. It might be Alabama. So I just want to put out there that we also would like to win the lottery this week. So if that could happen, so
Yes,
buy a lottery ticket.
I agree. We were all over that one.
Yeah, we were very much in the prediction. What happens is we record early and then we predict things instead of actually getting to react to them on the day of. But this week we're recording at normal time. So, but I do agree with you in the sense, like, I don't think the dynasty is over, but I do think it's going to look different.
They just look mortal. They feel mortal. I can't wait. And I know the roster people feel really good about, like the rest of the roster. And they'll be good, right? Like it's really hard to bet against the Nick Saban team. It's just weird to see them having to go this route. Now, this kid actually could be good, reuniting with an OC. Like, there's actually a lot to like about this. And maybe that's the part that feels weird, is that you're getting a quarterback that didn't win a starting job at Alabama, and you're like, hey, that's a really good pickup. It's just on Alabama-like. So I'm curious. This is like one of the most, Georgia and Alabama have fascinating quarterback battles for like very different reasons, like heading into the year. And I'm curious to see where this goes, or if it sticks when they do make a decision. I think this is going to be, Alabama hasn't had to like name a quarterback in a while. Like, what's the over under days before the game? Like game 1, right? Is Nick Saban going to name a quarterback week, like that week, or is he just going to trot a guy out there?
I mean, he's not going to, and quit asking.
That's exactly it. That is exactly it. Yes, you're correct. Like, it's going to be obnoxious. And to the Alabama beat writers that are going to be like, oh, fuck.
How curious I have to ask that question.
Hi,
I was
Nick.
just about to say that. To the people that are going to continue to ask him, I was going to say over under how many like rants do we get about the quarterback situation from now until the start of the season.
Nick, Billy Smith from the Tuscaloosa News saw practice earlier today, and you had Tyler taking first-team reps. Is that something you expect to continue, or are the other guys in line? I appreciate it, Coach. Hang it, and then Nick Saban's going to be like, you know what? The fucking media, you guys asked, so you know what? It's going to be great. It's going to be
you guys asked for a quarterback, and I don't even tell you a quarterback. We sit in here and we judge these kids, and we put them in these situations. Really, I'm just trying to get the best out of them, and that's what this team is about, right? That's what this sport is about, is getting the best out of people. I mean, he's just going to... I can't wait.
Kids have done everything we've asked of them. Oh yeah.
And you're putting this this rat poison on them. Oh man.
Oh, it's gonna be bad. Like, and they're gonna ask, and it's gonna be like a meat grinder of a spring practice.
It's
like,
so good.
Well, not even spring, I guess fall. But when you get into that, and it's good, like week 1, and he's gonna come in, it's 95 fucking degrees. When he's sweaty and tired, he puts his hat, there's a Coke bottle, and they have to ask.
Yeah, the Coke bottle's there. The poor Coke bottle has been in more rants.
Fucking, like, it's going to be a war, and I can't wait. It's going to be great. And we just, to the Alabama beat reporters, like, prepare yourself.
But
wording that question is going to be, that's
tough.
up to you. It's a challenge,
And to your point, like, I will say, you're right about this situation. Like, we're not used to, like, this sounds mean because, like we said, he could be good, but like going out and getting a quarterback in the portal and being like, oh, okay, I guess we'll take this guy, feels very like below Alabama. Like, they normally are so much more prepared. But here's the other thing, is that again, you don't want to bet against Nick Saban being able to make something like that work for them. You know what I mean?
No, like, you're exactly right. We have such high standards that when Alabama does this and it's a little bit on the ropes, you can't help but, like, because a dynasty, if this is the beginning of the end, right? And there's, like, you look at the data of the closeness of games and all the things, and you could argue, like, it's slipped. They have slipped.
Yeah.
Of this insanely stupid high standard they set, an unfairly high standard. So when you see this stuff, it's not like this stuff comes undone all at once. It happens like a penny at a time.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated by the state of Alabama this year. And you watch that. Here's what happens. We say, oh, this is what they do. And then they're just going to go and fucking beat the hell out of everybody and turn into boa constrictor football. And it's going to be beautiful. I would love to see it. But it's just, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
I'd like to see one more Alabama title and then Nick right off into the sunset.
Oh, he's got a great like the roster is so talented. Like this is the thing. Like, and with the transfer portal, like if he doesn't like his guys next year, he'll get somebody. So like that's the wild thing about the portal for a team like Alabama. Like you could recreate this thing pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's not like in that respect, Alabama's prime because the roster is going to be really, really good. But we see A&M and we know what that means. Although the A&M offense looks.
We're just stop yourself right now.
I'm gonna do that stupid thing again. I think.
Yeah,
and
you
do
just,
the A&M thing.
You are, and it's gonna backfire. And I'm gonna get to sit here and tell you I told you so, like I did before. But, there are changes coming in college football. Playoff is expanding, so we will see Alabama in the playoff even when it expands for sure. I'm sure.
Oh
I
yeah,
think we
absolutely.
will see Alabama more in the playoff, and that run of. I guess you can call it a run, but it's a year, but of Alabama not making a playoff. I will say the new college football playoff format, and we talked about this, it's kind of weird with college football years, so it's not this next year, but the year after that it will start.
Yes.
And obviously there will be 12 teams, and we are able to have on-site and on-campus games that are in the playoff. Then we've got New Year's Day as New Year's Eve and New Year's Day semifinals, and then college football national championship. Very exciting.
So I think all right, some takeaways through this.
Yes.
So here's for everyone, because this kind of slipped under both of our radars. We were both running around, and so for the 2024 season, the first round will be on campus, as you said, which is going to be awesome. They're going to do a game on Friday, the 20th, and then 3 games on campuses the 21st. By the way, I'm assuming early signing period, like this shit's going to have to be moved around. That also
the schedule, it's so confusing as is. Like even this year, like in the fall, they said the portal, the transfer portal window was going to be in May, and it was moved to April. Just very confusing.
You know it is. So so you've got the quarterfinals will be on New Year's Eve.
Yes, sorry,
and New Year's
quarterfinals.
Day.
Not semis.
So you got
semis
Fiesta.
used to be.
No, but I'm doing the same shit. I read quarterfinals on New Year's Eve, and it's weird. And then so you've got Peach Bowl and the Sugar Bowls we played on January 1. So you got 2 of those games, and then the semis are the 9th and the 10th, Thursday nights. The 9th at the Orange Bowl and the 10th at the Cotton Bowl.
Okay.
Now that's going to be important in a moment, and then the championship game is on the 20th. So okay.
So the season does move back a week. 2 weeks.
The season moved back a week, and also they're talking, the other part of this, I have so many thoughts on this. They're talking about moving the season up too, right? To eventually, so turning week 0 into week 1 and potentially moving week 0 a week up earlier. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
So college football is going to potentially occupy like a month more of time in terms of overall calendar scope, which I think is fascinating. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm fascinated by it. Like,
yeah, I don't particularly love it because I like having the week 1 games where it's like it's Labor Day weekend and you get to have the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday slate of games. And I assume TV people who are making very high up decisions do Monday games because they think that people will be home and watching games and not at work. Even though those games are late, some of them are later in the day. But it is interesting that, we've talked about this. This sport has changed so much in the last 2 years so quickly that this is kind of wild that this is a reality and we're going to have 12 teams and it's going to shift everything a little bit.
Also, shit football, or sorry, not shit football, but maybe shit football, shit weather football. The NFL gets a lot of this because, college football starts to shut down early December and you move into SEC, the stadiums. for the conference championship games. And yeah, maybe you get something on Thanksgiving, like an early snowstorm. We get a couple, but most of the time when the weather turns, college football starts to exit.
Yep.
You don't get like a Bills playoff game. This is going to be like a shit football bonanza. There are not a lot of domes, and I'm not saying that's good or bad either.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of domes. When you're playing in Michigan or Ohio State or Washington, you know what I mean? Like you're going to be going places where the weather is going to suck, and it's going to be a really interesting dynamic for college football because we're not necessarily used to that, and I'm fascinated by it. It's not a dynamic we've had a lot with college football. We have cold weather, we have really weird games, but the NFL like has kind of mastered the blizzard game. They're coming.
Yeah, how do
You're
you
gonna have enough opportunities.
How do you host a game in Ann Arbor during New Year's?
It's gonna suck. It's gonna and I will be fine with it. I like this. The rest of the country, I think, gets pissed off at shit weather football. I kind of enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe people don't get pissed off of it. Some people do.
Yeah.
And then the only other part I'll say, and we were talking about before we came on, the NFL, the college football is deathly afraid of the NFL. And so they're doing everything in this calendar makeup to avoid NFL competing with it at all costs. I understand it. It's just so much is going into this just to make this like ratings bonanza. Like this is like, and I get why everybody's got to make money. I'm a capitalist. I like making money. We all like making money, but they're so careful to avoid it. It's just kind of funny to me, and they're gonna have to do this. It's gonna be like a do-si-do every year.
Yeah,
where they're just like, how do we not compete with the NFL?
Yeah, no, it's fair.
But I think that's smart business.
It is, but I mean, I don't think it's gonna be that big of a factor if you did go up against the NFL, honestly, because I think like they're just different. They're so different. They're different animals to watch.
They are.
But I don't think like, I mean, but they've done that for years. Like they always avoid during. I mean, even NFL does that. I feel like though, because they have the Saturday playoff games once college football is over.
Yes, and my last thing. Well, my overall though, like we're finding holes, and I'm like putting together. I'm like detectiving, like Charlie Day with like pointing at the wall of like that meme of Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Campus playoff games the week of Christmas is fucking awesome. Like in conclusion, yes.
Kids are gonna be like, "Sorry, Mom.
Oh yeah,
I'm not coming home."
That is awesome. And I can't wait. Like, I cannot wait. A lot of good, a lot of questions. This thing's going to work itself out. But overall, if you're a college football fan, how can you not get excited about more meaningful football in this part of the calendar? That would be my take.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Oh, I love it. What games are we going to go to? Like, this is the other thing. Like,
I know. How do you map out
like,
games?
How do you cover this? Like, that's the other piece of this.
Yeah. It's going to involve us traveling a bit more, I think, which never a bad thing.
Never a bad thing. While I was here, I was like, okay, how many of these games? I'm looking at futures odds, which we haven't looked at. So you have Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, LSU, Florida State, Clemson, Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Tennessee. So maybe you don't have as many shit football opportunities as I thought. Like there is a fair amount of good football teams in the Southeast and on the West Coast. So maybe not as many as I would have hoped for, but still, there will be there.
And even when we had a national championship in L.A., it still poured rain. So
that's true, actually. Yeah.
Who knows?
So that'll be fascinating. Derby, Kentucky Derby. We transition awkwardly and violently to the horses. I love the Derby. We talked about this every year. You're a big Derby fan as well, correct?
Yes. I recently came to the realization that if there was ever if they were like, okay, describe your personality in a sporting event, mine might actually be the Kentucky Derby. And here's why. One, involves sports betting. Great.
Yep.
Okay. Day drinking. I day drink because I like to go to bed early. And the last one is that I love to get dressed up. I love a theme. I love to get dressed up.
You would kill this event. You need to go to this
thank
event.
You.
Yeah,
I legitimately was like, wait a minute. If there was any sporting event that could describe my personality, it would be the Kentucky Derby.
You've never been, correct?
Never been.
I've been twice. It's been a long time. 1 year rained like fucking hell, and it was absolutely insane. It is a great time, even though I think mint juleps are absolute trash.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever had one.
It's like you don't need mint and bourbon. It's an odd combination. Also, one of the funniest memories I have from the Kentucky Derby, I went with my dad, and he was wearing like white pants and drinking a Bloody Mary, and this guy who was drunk slammed into him, like beginning of the day drunk, and just fucking spilled like an entire Bloody Mary all over. He was like trying to dress up. It's funny now. He was super pissed and actually it just completely derailed the day. Terrible cheat to start off a gambling day.
Yeah.
But still one of a lasting memory of watching him just like wear a Bloody Mary for fucking 12 hours.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a really, really fun event. It's expensive. It's the infield versus the stands, completely different. The infield, of course, is where like, unspeakable things happen.
Yeah.
And the drunkenness is at another level, but it's a really, really cool
and it's
event.
Muddy.
So, it's muddy.
Yeah, I would have to go where it was not muddy because my outfit would not survive any sort of that. But that would be like my Super Bowl of outfit events.
Oh, yeah. No, I love that. You could, and anything, like you can wear whatever you want. Like this is like, you can push the limits on like colors, on extravagance, like
patterns. You can be
patterns. Like this is the Super Bowl of like dressing however the fuck you want.
Yes.
So
I love it.
Now gambling. Before I bet on sports, I bet on horses. I've been on horses for a long time, probably too long, and I am into it. I went to like 10 Breeders' Cups in a row.
Whoa!
I know how to read a form. I don't follow it nearly as closely as I used to.
Okay.
But I follow it pretty closely, and now I can look at these, and I know enough to be dangerous, I would say. But here's the thing about the Derby. It's 20 horses. They are young horses. They are 3 years old. It is roulette, okay? These horses are smashing into each other. The weather, which looks like it's going to be nice, is often crappy. You have horses flying in from all over the world. 20 horses should not run together all at once when they're coming out of the gate. You see it. They're just colliding.
Yeah.
It is an incredibly difficult race to handicap. Like, even if you think you have this thing down, and I think it was last year I had the winner.
Which was the long shot?
No, was it the year before? No, I think last year, I forget. The last couple of years, like, I think I have this race figured out, and either I'm on it or I miss spectacularly.
Okay.
So, now how much do you handicap this, or are you just like are you going in?
This is the one thing I go in blindly because that's how I just view horse racing in general. There's
That's
like
fair.
horse racing out here, and you can bet on horse racing in California, and so I have been to a lot of horse races, and I enjoy going and just like no clue because it's just the thrill of it. And honestly, it's like I feel like there's more controllables in like betting on other sports, which I say controllables, but yet still pretty hard to do. But I feel like in horse racing, you just never know.
Okay, well, I will give you my pick if you want. Here, you could tail this, you could fade this. I've spent what's that? Were you
no, I have a pick, but go ahead.
Oh, you have a pick?
Yeah.
Name or what? Who did you?
I'm taking the favorite.
You're taking Forte.
No, is Forte the favorite? Oh,
yes.
3-1. Yes, then I guess I'm taking Tapit Trice.
That's my pick. We have. Oh, yeah.
Look at us.
Now, let me give you a nerdy brief rank. So Forte is really good.
Okay.
Has won all races but the first one. So they do these Bayer speed figures. It's a way to read, like they calculate track speed. Again, not to get super nerdy. Forte has kind of peaked. Forte has kind of peaked in terms of Bayer speed figures. Now, Tapit Trice, this horse costs $1.3 million. Okay, so there's horses in this race. 500,000, 800,000, $1.3 million for a fucking horse. Lots of good bloodlines.
Yes.
Wants to run longer. Is getting better early.
Yeah, I mean, hasn't lost since November is what I saw.
Yeah, 5-1.
So, One, it
I like
was partially
Forte.
the name. I thought it was funny.
Tapit Rice, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm in. So the other horses that I have, because I have to bet exotic, so I'll bet that horse to win. I will
and
have
also,
Forte.
like, I know with horse betting, because I'm, like, not really, like, well-versed in horse betting, but isn't there, like, a box you can do for, like...
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'll do with my dad, so I'll bet this horse, and then my dad and we will go in on some trifecta, so the first 3 horses, and it'll include like 9 horses, right, in different orders.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, this is weird. This is what I do love about horse racing is you can, like, if you're betting sports, you're betting Ohio State. You just need Ohio State to win. You don't like really care how it happens. They make a field goal, they miss a field goal. They got to win by 2.
Wow, that was
in horse racing, you can actually handicap the race well and completely fuck yourself based on how you bet or how you don't bet. If you don't bet the right things at the right time. So we will bet a trifecta where it's like we'll have the first horses in the top horses saying, hey, one of these horses has to finish first, a larger group second, a larger group third. And you hope for odds. The other nice thing about the Derby is the odds are great. 20 horses allow you to get some pretty good odds.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity for some crazy shit, 40, 50, 60 to 1 to come into the money. So Tapit Rice is there. The other horse that I like, Carl Kramer, my father, who did he like? Practical Move is in the mix. King's Barnes, the 6 horse next to R5. Tapit Rice, very good, similar form, is running well, like coming in at the right spot. I think that horse is really good too. I love this race. I'm very curious to see
how it plays out.
Yeah. There's tomfoolery in this race every year. Will it be too fast? Will it be too slow? Will you have horses coming up, closing? Derby into a UFC pay-per-view page? Like, the drunk alert is at like a 14.5.
You mean the Formula One race that's in America this week?
Oh, it's right. It's in when is that
It's
on?
in Miami. It's on Sunday.
What time?
I actually don't know what time it is. I think it's afternoon time, our time. Let's look. I don't think it's a night race. I think the night races are...
Are you seeing videos of Vegas streets being torn to shit because of it looks terrible.
Yes,
the traffic in
but
Vegas
I don't
looks awful.
Make it happen.
No, I know you
it's
don't.
On
but
at
I'm
12.
like,
It's on at
cool.
12:30 my time, so 12:30 Pacific, which I'll actually be on the East Coast. So, but yeah, I'm very excited. I'm also just excited to see what the Grand Prix week is like, because I know last year it was kind of chaotic. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit better this year. So I'm excited. There's lots of celebrities that go to this one. So very exciting. Hoping for maybe Ferrari to do well like they did last time.
I will hope on your behalf. I still haven't gotten the kick to get in. Vegas might be my time to get in.
Actually, betting on Formula One, you can get decent odds. We should start doing that. I'll do it for the next race. I'll come with thoughts.
I'm in. Just tailing random stuff. I could, do I want to make it? No, I'm not going to make a UFC pick. I haven't handicapped that card maximum yet, like the Derby. Random shit.
What do you got?
I started a new show that I like. It's not a new show, but Severance. Have you watched Severance on Apple TV? Do you know what it's about?
No.
It's a little trippy. So there's a company and these people work at the company. To work there, you have to get a procedure called severance, where they put an implant in your brain, where when you walk into the office, you know nothing about your personal life. It's just the work life. And you've created a work life and a personal life.
So it's severing
You're severing from yourself. Yes.
Interesting.
I'm 3 episodes in. It's been out for a while. I've got people tell me to watch it. If you like weird shit, great acting, I like it. It's just enough weird for me to dive in.
Okay.
So I like that so far.
Can recommend the cheesy rom-com Ghosted on Apple TV.
Interesting.
With Chris Evans and Ana de Armas. That would be a good you and Caitlin watch.
Okay.
It's a different character than we used to seeing Chris Evans in, but I also will watch him in literally anything, so take that for what it's worth.
I will. I also have, so I'm coaching my son's baseball team, T-ball/baseball, right?
What's your team name?
We are the Detroit Tigers. Okay, so we're it's like a house league team, And like my son Jack keeps asking me like, "Are this a good team in Major League Baseball?" They beat the fucking Mets today, of course. So it's like, no, but like you're gonna make him good. So he's pretty good. However, I'm coaching first base, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these are 5 and 6-year-olds. Okay, the things I'm seeing and the things I'm hearing when I'm coaching 5 and 6-year-olds on first base. Last night, first baseman, okay. Kid is I just an amazing human, got a lot of energy. Just clotheslined the kid running to first base for no good reason at all. Just stuck his arm out, clotheslined the kid.
Sure, you want to get here? You're gonna have to go through me.
And then like apologized. I'm like, hey man, like why'd you do that? He's like, I have no idea. Okay, 2 kids just yelling poop, the word poop at each other back and forth for a good 45 seconds. Like trying to intervene, I could not. Like they had a thing going. It was like. So I'm learning a lot about children, my own included, in this first base coach endeavor.
Yeah.
Like, and it's eye-opening, right? There's a lot of fascinating children out there, all very nice, good-spirited. The clothesline thing, a little aggressive, aggressive. But I'm actually enjoying the shit out of doing this.
I feel like it's very entertaining, and you just kind of gotta go with it. Like it's not that serious, you know? Are there parents that take it serious?
Not yet.
Okay.
My son, like he is very. So this starts as t-ball, and he's like, I want coach pitch, and so finally the coach will stop and pitch to him because he's a tryhard, and I'm like,
I love that.
And he did like first off, he did this last night, and I'm like, if you're gonna fucking do this, you better hit the ball. Like don't be a dipshit. Like swinging and missing, and he did, but he hit it pretty hard, and I'm trying to keep him in. I'm trying to keep him in like it's not that hard. You dropped your hands. Like, dude, what do you do? You know, that kind of. But I could see myself becoming not the crazy parent. I will never be the crazy parent. Like, we cover sports. Like, there's not much that like gets us riled up unless like some other parent was interacting with their child. That would get us riled up real fast.
Yeah.
But I could see myself becoming the coach, because when I see other coaches doing stuff, I'm like, well, that's not necessarily right.
Yeah.
Like, sir, do you know what you're talking about? Like, I could see myself becoming the crazy coach, and I'm not sure I like that.
Yeah.
But it is who I'm becoming very slowly here, and TBD on if it actually happens.
Yeah. I get nervous thinking about that time in the future, because like I am so competitive, and even when I was a kid, like I played competitive soccer, and like my parents really just like let me do my own thing, because like I was very feisty as is. So like my parents were always like, all right, if you have a problem with coach, you talk to coach. If you have that, but I was always very opinionated and very like competitive, and would be coaching other kids and like wanting people to do better. But yeah, I'm nervous for that, because like you're having your kids is different, where you're like, you want to protect them from other things, but like I'm so nervous that like if my kid's bad, I'm gonna be like, all right, well, you're not that good, so.
Well, and it is different. They all 3 of mine, and one of them is just starting, and Cam, my youngest, he's just starting soccer, and I don't know if he's a lefty too, so he's just clumsily trying to figure out like how everything works. Lefty is tough, but my daughter is like trying all sorts of different stuff. Isn't uber competitive, just likes the interaction,
the social
which is great.
Side of it.
It's
Love
awesome.
that.
She's doing dance, she's doing soccer, she just wants to
that's what I did.
Hang out. But my he's a competitive son of a bitch like I was and am. And so he's like, he's going to start taking it to another level. Like his friend is on the other team, and he's like,
yeah, we're going to beat him.
We're not keeping score, buddy. It's not you don't.
Wait, they
like,
don't keep score?
I
hate that.
Everybody,
I hate it.
It's the last year for him, and he hates it too.
Yeah, I hate it. I would keep score and know who won, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, he kind of is. He goes, even though we didn't keep score, we hit it better.
Yeah,
like,
Jack and I are in the same boat. I also just remembered I signed up to learn pickleball this summer. So next month, my friend and I are going to like an introduction to pickleball here, because the weather will be super nice. And I'm like a little nervous, because I'm like, once I pick up something, like I have to be good at it. I think it's why I've put off like really taking up golf.
Same thing.
And so I'm looking forward to it though. Like I cannot wait to join a league and like be ready to go. But if anyone listens to
No,
this podcast and has tips on how to be good at pickleball, let me know.
Yeah, it's a huge, like, very fast growing sport.
It is.
Like,
There's like pickleball places opening up everywhere.
Kevin Durant like bought a pickleball team,
Yeah.
right? Like,
It's becoming a huge deal.
No, that's awesome. That's very cool. Trying to think. I don't have much else. I'm very excited. The weather is starting to turn, which is good. A lot of lawn work. I'm going to stripe my lawn for the first time this weekend. I feel like I need to do regular lawn updates. So the action shots of the lawn are imminent.
Yes.
I'm very excited about that. That is seasonally where I am. And then football comes and I have to abandon the lawn. But yeah, it's time. You're going to see some of my Instagram is like my kids for spring and then like the lawn for summer. And that's pretty much the extent of my social media posting. Yeah. Yeah. Are you making, do I sound like an old?
No, I mean, hello. I know these things.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm like, Adam, hey,
could
you post this to Instagram? And he's like, yeah. 3 days later, I'm like, hey, remember when I asked you if you could repost that?
I'm bad. I am.
You're not the social media one on this podcast, and that's okay. I mean, I post.
It's so sad though. It's like
I post enough for the both of us. I post enough for the both of us, honestly. So
you do. No, but you keep the glue of the pot without question.
Glue, thank you.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. Yeah. Outside of that, I am. Did you watch? Are you NBA playoffing?
Yes,
by the way?
Of course. I am NBA playoffing. A little sad about the Bucks. I mean, shout out Giannis for that wonderful rant he had. I thought that was amazing.
I thought it was great. Why was that controversial?
I thought it because people were like saying that the reporter shouldn't have asked that question, but I'm glad that he did ask that question again and he got the opportunity to give that response. I think it was a worthy question. Like, you're supposed to ask these questions as a journalist. Hey, like, do you view this as a failure? And again, Giannis was able to give that response, but I thought it was an amazing response, and I'm so glad that there's guys like him that people can look up to in the league. But yeah, my family is all Warriors fans. I'm not a Warriors fan. I appreciate them, and obviously I root for Steve Kerr because he went to Arizona. Anyone affiliated with Arizona, I root for, which is weird because like also the Suns too, kind of, but and the Nuggets.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really have a team, but I enjoy watching the NBA playoffs, and I also enjoy watching NBA Twitter like melt down and overreact on things during NBA playoffs. That's fun for me.
Yeah, the Lakers Warriors game last night, I did stay up for. That was fun.
Yeah.
The Knicks, who I'm half-heartedly invested in as a New York sports fan, that has been fun. It is. Aaron Rodgers apparently just attends every New York sports game now, which is also hilarious. But the playoffs have been great. I have not done very well betting on the playoffs. I've been like hot and cold, like not doing horrible, but I cannot get any momentum, I feel like, when it comes to it. And the lines with injuries have been wild. It's been a tough thing to bet. Done a little betting on the playoff hockey. Also not doing very well on that.
There's been some wild games in playoff hockey.
Oh my God. It is cliche to say, but like the overtime playoff hockey, it is like it is exhausting.
Did you watch the Panthers game the other day? I was like, what?
Oh my God.
I mean, what's funny is that like in my house, like if there's nothing on that we specifically want to watch in sports, we'll just find whatever sporting event is on and turn it on. And that one we just like turned on, and I was like, holy, this is an intense game. I can't imagine being... Hockey stresses me out so much. Like, even going to a hockey game, I feel stressed. And it's like, although I will say I did go to a Rangers game, the first game of the season, actually, this year, when I was in New York, and that was a really, really cool experience.
Hockey games in person, which I haven't done in a while, are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, they're great in San Jose, but, I mean, we haven't been good for a few years, so...
But yeah, it is great viewing right now.
Right?
It's not college football, but like the plethora of options are outstanding.
It always just feels weird too to like watch a sporting event and not be working it. I need to like be better about like not like actually enjoying watching sports as opposed to worrying about how it's being covered.
Somebody said today, like, we are at the absolute midpoint of the off season for college football. I believe the exact, like, today.
Yeah, it's
as
like
we're
100 and
recording
something
this.
days.
It's like we are on the way back. And that makes me both excited and a little anxious. I'm not prepared.
Don't have
emotionally,
anxiety.
spiritually yet. I will be. But yeah, it's almost time to start getting ready.
It
I'm
is.
excited about that. Okay, with that, any other random shit?
Nope. Good luck to our horse in the Derby.
Tap Trice, number 5. But this could be good or bad, the pod synergy. It either is great or, I mean, 20 horses, and that's where, like, that's pretty amazing.
We didn't
This
discuss
was not
this.
planned,
Yeah,
not
we did not
rehearsed.
discuss it. So who
I
knows?
like
It might
it.
be our
We're
time.
riding-
This
we're
might
riding
be our
anyways.
lottery that we're gonna win, because remember we predicted the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So this could be
I
a
like-
third.
yeah.
A third week.
All right, for Derby time, Tap Trice, UFC, oh my
Formula
God.
One.
Lots of beers, Formula Ones,
Soccer.
all of it.
We love it.
Enjoy, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.